You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. What a great episode today. I seldom, I like, my guests, of course, but this guy, I was enamored by his performance.
You were. You really were.
I really was. I was like, I watch a lot of stuff, and I was like, this guy is an actor. Mm-hmm. That Clint Eastwood movie, I'm not going to mention names right now because of the strike, but the series that he's on, just nominated for a Golden Globe. The guy works constantly. The guy I'm talking about is Walter Hauser. Paul Walter Hauser career doing pretty good.
He strikes a good balance between comedy and drama.
Oh,
he can do both.
He can do both
effortlessly.
Yeah, he's adept at both comedy and drama. And we talked about hanging out and stuff, and he invited me to something. But I love the guy. I totally want to hang out with this guy. He's just such a down to earth dude. I hope you don't blow up too big. I hope you blow up big, but your head doesn't blow up. All right, Paul, don't do it to me. Always come on the podcast. Always have time for me. Look, if you like this podcast, if you're here for Paul, all we ask, if you enjoy it and you're like, hey, that wasn't half bad, follow us on our handles, Ryan.
At Inside of You Pod on Twitter, at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook.
That's correct. And you can watch on YouTube. Listen, we really appreciate it. If you write a review, it helps the podcast. We talk about mental health and so much different stuff. And it's not your typical podcast. We don't think, nor do the people listening think. Hopefully you won't think that, and you'll join. Also, if you want to join Patreon and support the podcast, we could use your help. Patreon, patreon.com/Inside of You. The Inside of You online store has amazing new zip up IOU. I just got the sweatshirts. They're awesome. Zip ups. I wear one. So get those while they last, and tons of cool new tumblers and autographed pictures of me and tons of stuff. So Inside of You online store. Tom and I we're going to get right to the interview, but also we're going to be in Salt Lake City, DC, Minneapolis in September, then Rhode Island. I'll be in SpookyCon in Orlando for a horror convention in November. Me and Heater are going to go film our show.
Yeah.
A reality show. We're going to go do that at the end of November. So a lot of good stuff. I got a little children's book coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And Simon & Schuster are distributing. So we'll inform you more as that comes along. The band is Sunspin. It's my band. We perform every month at stageit.com. You can go to sunspin.com and find out. You can get Zooms with me and Rob. And we'll be posting new videos we made. And the album is out. We're selling the vinyl. Sunspin.com. Support the band, the podcast, all that stuff. And Ryan went on a little trip with his dad, a little bonding experience.
Yeah, it was great.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry this time.
Did he say things like, Ryan, I'm really proud of you and I love you?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's great. Well, we play guitar together when we go camping, and wow, that's cool. Good bonding.
What do you play? What songs?
What did we play?
Supertramp?
No, we learned the Beatles song "Two of Us." You know,
just the two of us.
That's one. Nailed it.
That's not it. But that's cool.
Yeah, and James Taylor.
Oh yeah,
Eagles.
James Taylor.
Eagles always comes up.
So you played that in the woods?
Yeah.
Did you see any wildlife?
No, there's no wildlife.
No. Why not?
Because we're deep in the. We're in a very specific campsite.
Oh, so there's other people around there?
Yeah.
They didn't care that you were playing guitar loudly?
No.
I just want peace and quiet. And these Tejas folks are just effing it up. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into Paul Walter Hauser.
It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Hey folks, wanted to highlight something important before today's episode. In case you weren't aware, myself and many of the guests are on strike alongside SAG-AFTRA and WGA. Today's episode and any we air before the strike ends were recorded before it began. So this is just a heads up in relation to some for the topics we may discuss. If you want more info on the strike, visit SAGAFTRAstrike.com. Now let's get into it.
You have such a good like radio voice.
Do I really?
Yeah, you do.
You saying I have a face for radio? You son of a...
No, I did not say that.
All right.
I said in tune with you also having a face for film and television. And, you know, brothels. I think you also have a voice for radio, or as the kids call it, podcasting.
Or how about, I always wanted to do trailers, but no one does them anymore.
I'm
No?
obsessed with the old trailer
Oh,
voices.
I-
What, the LaMontagne guy?
Was that his name?
Something LaMontagne.
He passed away, didn't he?
He did. I think from some throat related.
No.
No. That's
Oh
not
my
true.
God. That's why he
That's
had
not
it.
true.
Like, in a world.
I always loved the one who used to. There was a voiceover guy who worked for like UPN WB, probably back in the day, not like right around the time you were doing Smallville. And he was like so earnest and kind of old, sounded like this older soothsayer guy. And he would talk like this. He'd go, "This week on an all new Everwood."
Pulls out Everwood.
And he would be like, "On an all new One Tree Hill." And it was like a serious voice that would like maybe narrate a war documentary, but he's like talking about the relationship between Treat Williams and the kid. It's just a very, very funny thing to me. So I'll be in the kitchen and I'll just be like chopping vegetables, right? Or like pan frying burgers. And I'll be like, "On an all new pan fried burger,
To yourself.
one cheeseburger will satisfy the cravings of Paul Hauser until he gets another." Like I just say dumb stuff like that to amuse myself.
Does your wife say shut up ever? Will you shut up?
Not so much shut up as an eye roll, and maybe she'll leave the room at some point.
Yeah. Well, that could happen. That's like my dog does that to me. Would you rather be told 3 choices?
Okay.
Quiet.
God.
Shh. Shut up. Which one? If you had to have someone say something to you.
It's hard. I'm just picturing Kevin Spacey saying that to Anthony.
Let me
Rapp.
no. Oh, that's Malkovich. No, quiet. Shut up.
That's good.
No, but
Quiet,
Spacey was-
shut up, or what's the third one?
Third one is no. Third one is quiet. Shut up and shh.
I think the shh is the most.
Belittling.
Yeah, it's like I'm not even gonna dignify you with words, and it's also like we shush dogs, we shush
Children.
Yeah, we don't shush adults. You shush an adult, like you will see Rick Moranis turn into the Incredible Hulk. Like a small man could do a lot of violent damage by being shushed.
I choose quiet. I think quiet's kind of funny. Or snap. That's the worst. Don't snap at people. But I don't mind. I always say this to people. I was like, quiet, please.
I had an actor once do this to me. I was cracking a joke because he was being inappropriate, and everybody around me was on my side because they always are. I just had some freaking veteran actor acting like a dick, and I said something, and at one point he went to me. He put his hand up and he went, and I was like, oh man.
Were you confrontational? Or you just let it go?
I was doing the thing where someone's being inappropriate, you crack a joke to lighten the mood, but the joke is also pointing out the absurdity of how the person's acting.
Yeah.
And by the second joke, that person caught on and got frustrated.
I got frustrated with a guy on set, Michael Ironside. Remember him?
I know him well, not personally, but
Scanners.
No, when I think Mike Ironside, and I say Mike because we are dear friends. When I think Mike Ironside, I think of The Machinist.
Oh yeah,
with Christian Bale.
Yeah. Here's the thing: we're on set, and I'm like always goofing with everybody, making the crew laugh. Everybody's having fun.
Yeah, I'm similar.
I want to entertain. And this guy is on set, old school or whatever, and I come on, and I'm joking. I'm like, I'm doing like, hey, how are you? All right, looks good on you though.
Rodney.
Yep, and he's like there, and he looks at me. I put my hand out. He doesn't shake it. He goes, "You're that guy, huh?"
Ooh.
And I had my Scanners poster in the trailer, and the way he said it to me, I was like,
"Wait, you had your Scanners poster in the trailer
for him to sign."
You're that guy, huh?
Yes.
You are that fucking guy. But
I am. Look around you.
But also, I'm that guy.
Are you?
Like I'm trying to think.
Do you
of
get
good
autographs from actors that you're working with?
On a rare occasion, if it's like something really special, I would for sure. Like if for some reason I got to work half a day with Robert Duvall, where he's playing an old Southern judge and he's working 4 hours to give a half-page monologue, I would for sure shake his hand, tell him what a great admirer I am, and then see if he'd sign something.
Most people, I mean, I've only asked people that are really cool. Steve Martin was awesome. It was the Last Day on set. You know, Stallone signed my Rambo lunchbox.
Not Stallone, I would have signed something.
Yeah, he was
Absolutely.
like, you have a Rambo lunchbox. How old are you?
That's so
And it was
good.
like, I love
Dude,
doing
these impressions are so good, man.
You do impressions?
I do some, but like
Who?
I feel like I'm totally outsized.
No.
here
Give
with
me
you.
one that you'd like to do.
I do like a lazy Willem Dafoe where it's just like Peter Parker. He comes into the room and he thinks he's gonna do something until I Green Goblin his ass. That's like kind
that.
of that's like a 6.5 out of 10.
I could feel it though. I could feel once you started talking, I could see his teeth, how he has that thing
He
going.
does the thing with his mouth. And then there's Gilbert Gottfried with, I can't believe I'm on Michael fucking Rosenbaum. This guy. That is close, I think.
Yes, it's great.
And then I think I do. Who's the guy who Alex Jones?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, the InfoWars.
The InfoWars guy who's like, all right, let me tell you what's going on right now. Basically, you got Michelle Obama, who is an alien. She's an alien.
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
That guy-
Yeah.
I do like some of him.
my
And-
god,
But I used to make SNL audition tapes. Nobody would even watch them.
that
But
was
I would
always
like,
my dream to be on SNL.
same. That was my.
It
dream.
was my dream, and I did this pilot for Pete Siegel, who directed Tommy Boy, and the co-writer on that was this guy who wrote on SNL all the time.
Who was it?
For some reason I forgot his name.
Okay.
He's like one of the big writers.
I'm a big SNL nerd, so I was
He
like,
lived right up the street from here. But
Alan Zweibel.
no. But he said to me, he says, if you do this pilot for us, because they fired somebody and they needed me, and they needed someone, they asked me, and I was unsure if I wanted to do it. And he goes, if you do this, I'll get you an audition for SNL. He never did.
It's a big carrot to
Never
dangle.
did. Never even returned my call.
Okay, don't say his name then.
Say his name.
No, don't.
But he wrote Tommy Boy?
He, I think, with Pete Siegel, didn't he?
The writers of Tommy Boy.
Terry something.
Yep. Terry Turner.
Oh, it's not Terry Turner.
Bonnie Turner.
No, maybe he didn't write on it. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right, back to you. So you do all these impressions. You're a funny
Fred
guy.
Wolf.
Fred Wolf. That's it. And he was a nice guy, super nice guy, but he never did what he said he would do.
He might have been ashamed. Like, I thought I could. Maybe I tried and they said no, and now I don't know how to tell Mikey. That happens.
Always, honesty is always the best way.
Fred Wolf, can you just be honest for 5 seconds? No, I've done that with folks too, where like I'll say, send me your script, I'll read it. And I would say realistically, I probably read 6 out of every 10 scripts I say I'll read.
That's a lot. I might read one.
Yeah, I feel
That's
bad
hard for
about
me.
that, but it's also like you got to peg the person. Like this happens at the highest levels too. It's not like this goes away. If I do a movie with Ethan Hawke and I'm like, cool, if I get your number, man, would love to throw you something down the line. Yeah, sure, man, hit me up, or here's my email.
Yeah.
It's not like Ethan Hawke's going to jump on that and be like, I'm immediately going to read your shit. You would have to hit him up once every 8 to 10 weeks.
Just to check in.
And remind him and whatnot. Yeah.
Like I did you.
Like you did me.
Sort of. Not really. I mean, I messaged you and you messaged me right back.
I did hit you back right away. And it was just to kind of, I wanted to make sure you didn't think I was being,
Big time.
not even, yeah, or even just the most basic of what we're talking about, which is just dismissive. Big time or not, people can be dismissive, and I never want someone to feel like I don't.
But you don't
care.
owe me anything. You didn't know me. So, sometimes like I want to guess that I'm really fond of their work, and sometimes they're not even that big of an actor, but I just love their work and want them on. Sometimes they are. And I do it not all the time, but every once in a while, not often, but every once in a while, I will say, hey, I want to go through you. If you read this and the podcast, if you know me or you care,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan and I'd love to have you on. Whatever. And, usually people do it.
Yeah, I think this stuff is really fun, man.
Inside of You is brought to you by Rocket Money. I was just telling one of my friends about Rocket Money because, there's the big strike and all that stuff, the SAG strike, and nobody's working. And I was like, hey, have you checked your subscriptions? Are you sure you're not being charged for other? He goes, what are you talking about? I go, there's actually this app. It's really awesome. Just hear me out. Rocket Money. And they will take care of all your subscriptions. They'll make sure you're not getting charged for things that you don't need anymore. Like when you watch that one show on Cinemax, and is Cinemax still around?
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, it might. I don't know.
Well, you accidentally do it, or you subscribe because you just want to watch one show, and then you forget to unsubscribe, and then you're being billed, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just got charged $80 for the last 8 months or something.
I would say the average person has around 12 subscriptions.
12?
12. And they might not even remember.
Paid subscriptions.
Mm-mm.
Wow, that's a lot. And half the time you don't even know you're subscribed to them. If you have no idea just how much you're spending each month, you need Rocket Money, okay? It's this great app that tracks all of your expenses so you know exactly where your money is going. 80% of people, this blew my mind, have subscriptions they've forgotten about. 80%. How many free trials that you do and you forget about?
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place.
Most people think they're spending $80 on their subscriptions, when in reality, the number is closer to $200. When you're signed up for so many things like streaming services you used to watch one show or free trials for delivery you don't use, it's so easy to lose track of what you're paying for.
With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel the ones you don't want with just the press of a button. No more long hold times or annoying emails with customer service. Rocket Money does all the work for you.
Rocket Money can even negotiate to lower your bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is take a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest.
Rocket Money also lets you monitor all your expenses in one place, recommends custom budgets based on your past spending, and they'll even send you notifications when you've reached your spending limits.
With over 3 million users and counting, Rocket Money customers have saved an average of $720 a year. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/inside. That's rocketmoney.com/inside. rocketmoney.com/inside. This message is sponsored by Discover. Did you know you could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection? The latest innovation from Discover. Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And they'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
I know some actors hate doing press or putting themselves out there. They're like, well, if I talk too much about my thing, then it's not special, and you've kind of lifted the veil or something. I'm like, I don't care. It's fun to talk to people, and I like trying to promote what I've done because we all work hard on our stuff.
Yeah, well, the thing is with you, you can't show everything, because even like you joking around now, the reason I messaged you, I was watching Blackbird by myself.
Ooh.
And I love dark shit. I love, look at me, horror.
I can't tell.
Yeah, geez Louise. And I was just enamored. I was so, look, I'm not blowing smoke. I tell everybody and their mother, they've got to see it, if nothing else, for your performance.
Oh, thanks,
because
man.
It's just like, you can't take your eyes. And I remember the first time you open your mouth as Hall.
Larry
Hall, the serial killer, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Because something said like in Wiki, it's a suspected serial killer. I guess in the story, he's just suspected.
Yeah.
And then they figure it out. But I watched this performance and you do. It's so unlike you. I mean,
That's
like
nice.
it's
good to know.
I know you're not a serial killer, but no, I'm
I
I'm
know what
saying
you
your
mean.
mannerisms,
Yeah.
your voice. I've never heard this, or maybe I have, but seldom from an actor. I don't know what you did, but you would be talking to Egerton, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you'd be having a scene with him, and you go, your voice would go up, and it would sort of go down. So you go, well, yesterday when you were telling me that you had, and I was like, what is he doing? And I couldn't stop listening to you. You know what I'm talking about? It's the voice and the
it draws you in a little bit.
and it was kind of sad, and you didn't want to like him, but you kind of weirdly were starting to, and until things started to unravel. I was just blown away.
Thank you, man. I think Taron Egerton, I always say, I'm like, he's a really good dance partner. Like
Yes.
sometimes you just get blessed with a co-star who you're doing the bulk of your work with, and it's like, hell yeah. He's one of those hell yeah guys. But I try to get uber specific and just try to make it honest and not, crazy. My brother, when I did the movie I, Tonya, my brother Matt, he was with me on a leg of the press tour for that, or at least he went to the
Loved that too.
New
That was
York
great.
premiere.
Great.
Oh, great, dope movie, just a cool movie.
Unexpected.
Yeah,
Like I was like, all right, let's go see this.
100%.
And I was like, right? It was really
amazing. The first time I read that script, I was in Canada doing a pilot for Lifetime with a bunch of cool people. And, the show was just okay. Not something you'd be like, I got to tell you about the show I'm on. But the people were like fun. And we're having a great time up there. And I'm feeling so blessed and spoiled to have this type of a gig, series regular. They're paying me decent, even though I've got like 9 lines in the pilot. Like,
Right.
it's so easy.
I love it.
But I'm there and I get the offer for the audition on I, Tonya. Because I think Josh Gad had the role, but then he got busy with Branagh's train movie, the Murder on the Orient Express. Murder on the Asian Express.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Kenneth Branagh, fucking
Jeez,
asshole.
What is he thinking, man?
Anyway, but I'm like
yeah.
prepping for the audition. I'm reading the script and I'm laughing my ass off the first time I read it. It feels almost like a Christopher Guest movie or something.
Yes.
And I'm like a psychotic Christopher Guest fan. And then
I'm gonna have Michael McKean on.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
He was on Smallville too. He was great. I love.
He's
We've been
so
emailing
good.
back and forth. He's like, yes, I'm coming. I figured it out. But go ahead.
But the second time I read it, I wasn't laughing. It read more like a David O. Russell thing where I'm like, these are broken people who are bleeding all over the place type of thing. And I was like, well, that's kind of a good sign if one made me laugh and the other almost made me cry just on separate reads. And I'm like, this is a cool movie. But then when you're doing it, you never know. You don't
never know.
Wait, why was I talking about
Because
that?
you were getting to Blackbird.
Blackbird.
Because you're
crazy people don't know they're crazy. So my brother said to me on that leg of the tour, whatever, he was like, crazy people, my character in I, Tonya, Sean Eckhart, he's like, crazy people don't know they're crazy. And that's what's so scary about crazy people. Because we're all capable of doing something crazy. And most of us have. But this idea that you don't know you're crazy, like that's
crazy.
That's scary. So with Larry Hall, I just had to really own that crazy and not let the audience think that I'm cognizant of it. And yet he's emotionally manipulative for sure. And that is what the audience clues in on a little bit. And they're like, okay, well, I was almost starting to like this weirdo so long as I don't have to stand next to him. And then it's like, okay, now I think he might be messed up. Oh, he's that messed up. Oh, I hate this guy. Kill this guy.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we, the audience, feel what Taron feels in episode 6.
But it was an arc. It was just you had to get there. It wasn't just. And I always say this. It's like, if you're going to play the bad guy, you gotta, because bad guys normally aren't trying to be hated. They're they're trying to get what they want.
Yeah.
They're trying to they're manipulative. They're psychotic. They're narcissists or whatever it is. But yeah, that was incredible.
I always think that the best villains in stories, or at least talking movies, TV, are the ones who spell out what it is they're trying to do. They'll actually give you a verbal peek behind the curtain as to what's making this, what the engine of thought is. So like Heath Ledger, when he's burning the money and he's like, it's in Dark Knight, he's like, it's not about the money. And like Christoph Waltz in the opening of Inglourious Bastards, where he's like, let me explain how I see the Jews or whatever. Like knowing the mind behind it is it's such an intimate thing for an audience to clue in on, and it makes you hate the person even more. And I feel like we did that in episode 4 or 5. We start to really flirt with knowing why Larry did what he did. And then it's like, oh, to this extent? Oh, did somebody kill this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All the great villains, you get a peek, I think.
Yeah, it's almost like they're like this, but this is what I believe. Christoph Waltz. How does he sound? I don't know. I've never done Christoph Waltz.
I don't know, but I know he does this thing where he talks about Quentin Tarantino.
That's it.
Yeah,
off the cuff. Honestly, don't inflate it. Don't be like, oh, well, I spent 4 years creating this character. How long from the inception or the time you got cast did you audition for this character in Blackbird?
I did audition over Zoom for Dennis Lehane.
And did you do exactly what you do pretty much in the movie?
Pretty much. It was like if what I do in the show is a well done burger, I showed Dennis like the medium. Yeah.
And he kind of helped you mold it and kind of helped you.
Oh yeah. He kept like the voice modulation was tough. Like that was all Dennis going, hey, your voice is unconsciously getting higher. I think around episode 3, 4 here, we should start to have him use it as like a manipulative tool. And
see, I don't think a lot of people, when I bring that up, they're like, oh, cool. I was going crazy with the voice. It was just so in and out and like almost like you were singing in a way. Not singing, but like your character.
Yeah, there's a musicality to it for sure.
There was something that, it was just
for
really,
sure.
But did you have tapes to listen to his voice?
No, there was like 12 seconds of composite audio on YouTube and some random local TV documentary.
That's it.
Yeah, I didn't have any footage. Richard Jewell was different. Richard Jewell, I had like 12 to 15 hours of crap they sent me, and I was like, dope. This is going to be easy. All I got to do is get that voice down. I already look like the guy. Like that takes care of that. But this was more interpretive, which is hard. It's not hard as in not fun, not hard as in hard. Digging a ditch is hard. Mm-hmm. Teaching in an inner city school is hard. But it was trying and not fun to put your brain where it has to go, because there is the Laurence Olivier try acting to your boy thing, which I get, and we all appreciate that to whatever extent. But I'm the type of person where I don't know that I'm a good enough actor to fake it. I kind of have to think about and killing in my head while doing the lines. Wow. And I know there are going to be people that think that's really uncouth and why and how dare you and what's the point of going there, but it's like that's what I do to entertain you and make that character feel believable
without actually exactly.
Yeah, it's for the love of God, it's not like I'm one of those actors but by the way, there are these actors who are like, I'm gonna play a junkie, so I gotta try meth, I'm gonna try heroin. It's like, no, you fucking idiot. Like, you don't have to do that. But you know what you could do is befriend somebody who did do those drugs
and get some information.
And sleep on the floor for 5-6 days and malnourish yourself and do some of the stuff that the junkies do, and you'll be good right as rain.
Yeah. Can you have fun on set while you're doing a part like this, or are you method?
1000% you have to have fun.
So you can like cut and you're like, anyway, so the other day.
Yes, but it's also not that I'm not that brilliantly ambidextrous. Like if I'm doing a really hard scene that involves a certain amount of mental gymnastics, emotionally, verbally, whatever, I will go off, and I won't flaunt it. But I will go off in a corner in a soundstage with earbuds in, and I will, listen to the National or something and get myself in the place I gotta be. We're half awake in a bottle of Barolo. That guy's always drinking wine, isn't he?
I think so.
I saw that documentary he did, Mistaken for Strangers, with him. And, it's great.
Really?
Mistaken for Strangers. It's the lead singer of the National going on tour with his brother, and he's like trying to give his brother a job, but his brother's kind of a ne'er-do-well. And it's like exploring that broken relationship, attempting to find a way to be cohesive.
Fix it or
yeah.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp has been with me for a long time, and I think I know why. Because this podcast deals with a lot of mental health, people talking about their anxiety and depressions, and we're all imperfect. We're all flawed, and that's the beautiful thing about life. And sometimes we get in ruts. Sometimes our path isn't as clear. That's in front of us. We're not sure what we're going to do. We can't find purpose. This is where BetterHelp comes in. And it's so important, whether you're dealing with decisions around your career, your relationships, or anything else. Therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life, so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. Trusting yourself to make decisions that align with your values is like anything. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. The great thing about this is the stigma is going away, folks. So, my dad, he doesn't go to therapy. And, I've been talking to him, and I'm like, listen, everybody, so many people do this. You're not the only person who gets in ruts. When we lost my sister, I finally got him into therapy, and it's just important to know you're not alone. You're just not alone. And with BetterHelp, you can get your therapist online. If you don't like your therapist, you change it like that. It's so easy. It's so much more affordable than looking up some therapist that you don't know and going, and it costs you so much money to go in there. Look, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire. It's so quick. And get matched with a licensed therapist. Switch therapists anytime for no additional charge, period. It's entirely online, so it's convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire. It takes seconds. And get matched with a licensed therapist. Switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/inside today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/inside. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/inside today to get 10% off your first month. That's 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/inside.
It's interesting.
It's funny. I have a relationship with my brother where it's sort of like, there's a little bit of that. I won't say much more than that, but it's difficult. I want him to thrive. I want him to do all the,
sure.
But you can't be.
You can lead a horse to water. Yeah.
You just got to. Yeah, I spent years trying to fix my family and things, and I said, "This is crazy. What I'm doing. This is fucking crazy." And I know I'm crazy. So
yeah,
it was just weird. It's tough.
Tough. It's. Here's what it is. It's not like the blind leading the blind, but it is the colorblind leading.
I'm colorblind. There you go. I am.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we've all got a version of that where I used to want to fix people and didn't realize I needed fixing.
Yeah.
Now that I'm working on myself and have done a pretty good amount of fixing, I wouldn't say 100%, but I'm at 45, 50. Like now I don't want to fix everybody else because what I've learned is it's not about an advertisement. It's about attraction. You attract it. You don't advertise it.
Do you drink? Do you do any pot smoking?
No, I did.
Pot smoking?
I used to do weed.
Yeah.
No, I loved, and I'm using the word love here. I loved marijuana and red wine and really expensive scotch and cheap ass beer. And then like hoppy 8% were made in a frickin' Asheville, North Carolina beer. But I got to a point where I just realized I was like, dude, I'm way too addictive of a person.
Addictive personality.
Like I'll watch 4 movies in a movie theater in one day and not blink. Like I'm like, bring it on.
Wow.
I will eat 7 slices of pizza and be like, this is normal. I'm like a fountain soda. Let's fill it up 3 times. I'm gonna die. I want to see my teeth fall out.
Can I have another Twizzler?
Yeah. I'm not gonna get the Twizzlers. I'm gonna get the Twizzlers and the Red Vines.
No, now you're just, you're catering to both audiences or whatever.
Well, it's as Michael Jordan says, Republicans and Democrats both buy Nikes, right?
Perfect analogy. Perfect. Eyes crossed. Perfect. Let me ask you this.
I had to cut it out. I have a year and a half sober on April 26th of this month from marijuana and alcohol because it just made me really irresponsible. And I have a self-hatred that I've been working on for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
Where something in me, it's not even me. I believe in the principle. I'm very spiritual. So like I believe in principalities in your head telling you should go kill yourself. And then you have to combat that with really good behavior and believe that either people or God love you. In my case, I believe both do.
Yeah.
So you have to rewrite and feed that narrative. And alcohol is like opening the floodgates for the voices. So if I was really drunk, it was like, man, you are gross and no one will ever want to marry you. And you're a disappointment and you should kill yourself. And I was like, well, that's not a tenable narrative. That's not sustainable. And so, yeah, I feel way better, man. I feel great now.
Well, I always say that, like, I always tell some of my friends who, they drink too much. They, and you're their friend. You just fucking say something, if you're a good friend.
Yeah.
And I do. I call people out. I just fucking call them out.
Yeah.
Like I drink occasionally. I'm
70% on that. I would say 3 out of 10 friends. I'm like, I'm kind of letting them work through it, or I'm afraid they're not going to receive it. But then the other 7 out of 10, I'm like, I took a friend of mine was doing Coke one time in front of me and offered it to me. I've been offered Coke like 6 or 7 times, never done it because I was afraid because my hero's Chris Farley. I'm not trying to.
Me too. Oh my God, it's mine. I talk about him all the time.
Well, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
But I kind of pulled him aside and was like, hey, I know you just booked this pilot and I know you got some money and the show's getting picked up, but like, this is a quick way to shit on this golden opportunity. And I care about you and I love you.
That's it.
And just kind of do that out there. And I would rather them be mad at me and sever some tie or create some distance and know that I said something.
Yeah.
Now that's important to me. But it's tough. It's tough.
Sometimes. I think some people should not drink.
Sorry.
Some people should not drink. Now, when I
some
say
people
that,
shouldn't have kids. Like that.
Yeah.
Listen, there are unique circumstances in which people should not be involved in something.
Yeah, I said to this person in particular, I said, when you drink, of all the things that you regret, and most of the things, what percentage happens or bad decisions when you're doing drugs and you're drinking, when you're snorting? They said probably almost all of them. And I was like, well, I don't need to say anything else. Your problems you'll still have problems, but they'll be easier to deal with.
They won't be magnified.
Yeah. And that's, it's hard. And look,
also problems beget problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people forget that like there is a very hyper constructed chain reaction of events that happen where it's like, I'm drunk. Now I kind of want to get high. Now I kind of want to order food. Now I just spent $80 on Postmates for a burger and fries.
I've done it.
Now we've all done it. And then it's like, now I feel like shit. Now I have diarrhea from the burger. Now I'm going to be hungover. I have work tomorrow.
Yes.
Holy shit. Did I buy Imagine Dragon concert tickets? Am I going to see Imagine Dragons? Did I buy it for the wrong venue?
Did you do that?
You
son of a bitch. That's a true story.
I bought, so there's 2, what is the place, the outdoor venue that's in up in the hiking area?
The Greek?
The Greek.
Yeah.
I bought tickets for some concert. It was the National, actually. It wasn't.
All right, well, that's
Dragons.
good.
I bought Imagine Dragons tickets for the wrong night. That's what happened. I went to the Palladium, and it was one of the worst concerts I've ever been to. I hated it, and I don't know why I bought into their freaking Illuminati choruses.
I'm not going to say anything back because I just don't know them. I don't know.
I don't know
Don't they
them
have
either,
one
but-
song that I know? What is the one song?
Everybody, no, you know more than one.
I don't know. Name one.
Don't act like
Name
you just
one.
moved to America.
Listen, if it's music after
I
2000,
feel it in my bones enough to make
Never
my
heard it.
system
Never heard it.
grow.
Never heard it.
Welcome to the new age.
Oh, yeah.
To the new age. Radioactive. Of course you've heard that.
I have heard that.
What about this one? When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide.
Yeah.
Where my demons hide.
All right, you know this
Don't
music.
get too close. It's dark inside. And now I'm going into Dave Matthews covering this song.
He wakes up in the morning.
Takes a shit because he ate a smash burger at 3 a.m.
He orders popcorn from ArcLight. Has it Uber to his house? He's alone. I did that. I fucking did that. My friend's
I
like, you
love it.
ordered Ubered popcorn to your house?
That's like something.
I swear to God.
I feel like that's something Spielberg's family does, right? Guys, we will not go to a theater in fear of germs and autographs and selfies, but we will order this.
Oh, that's amazing. Let me ask you, do you ever was Richard Jewell really the first? That was the first big one.
Before I forget, can I quick do my impression of Bob Dylan doing Justin Bieber?
Yeah, can I close my eyes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I wish you would for a lot of things I'm doing here. It's Is it too late now to say sorry? I've been missing more than just your body. Oh, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now? Right?
That is the best one.
Bob
That
Dylan
is
doing
the
Bieber.
best one. It's the ending of those sentences.
That's one of my favorites.
Oh my Lord.
I also love my mobster who does.
Ooh.
I love my mobster who does Gwen Stefani, where he's like,
All right, closing him. See if you make me laugh.
few times I've been around that track, all right? But I ain't no holla back girl. This shit is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. That's fun.
That sounded like kind of like De Niro doing it.
You know? I went up to De Niro at the SAG Awards on a commercial break. Nobody was bothering him. It was probably the best moment of his life. And I went up to him and I just go, hey, man, I'm Paul Hauser. I did this movie, I Tanya. I'm here for that. I just wanted to make sure I said hi to you and shook your hand. King of Comedy is one of my favorite movies. You're amazing. And he just looked at me and went, oh, yeah. Oh, thank you.
And that was it.
He just made his bitter beer face and nodded, and I walked away.
You know, I got starstruck. There's this announcer for the Mets. His name was Ralph Kiner. No one knows who, unless you're a Mets fan. But he talked like this. He'd be like, harmless cumulus clouds lingering overhead, fans filing in off the subway, a beautiful day for a ball game.
That's Ralph.
Kiner. Oh, no,
Kiner.
was it Bob Murphy? That was Bob Murphy.
Bob Murphy.
Bob Murphy.
And see, I'm such a good actor that I just acted like I knew who that
You
was.
were. I
but I was
believed
repeating
it.
Ralph Klein. And then
I
me
caught you in a
saying
lie.
that caused you to say Bob Murphy. And
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, Bob Murphy.
You did it on purpose. So Bob Murphy, and he would
I'm
be like,
manipulating you this
you're a
entire
bastard. See, you're
time.
jumping into that character again, that Hall character, you son of a manipulative bitch. So, no, I didn't mean that about, anyway.
It's so harsh.
I know, that's really
No,
rude.
so Bob, you ran into Bob at a urinal.
So Bob Murphy, I'm fucking up my own story. Bob Murphy, so he was like, now it's honeydew season, folks. Honeydew this and honeydew that.
Oh, I love
It's Toyota drives like a dream. And so my uncle met Bob on the street in New York one day and goes, Bob, you're Bob Murphy. You're the best announcer there is. And there was a long beat pause and he goes, ooh, that is so very kind of you. And then he fucked off.
Wow.
Great story, huh?
That's like the perfect interaction, though. I had a moment like that in New York City with, I'm a huge character actor fan because I am one. I saw James Rebhorn from The Game and Blank Check and Scent of a Woman and Meet the Parents. Big character actor. He's since passed. But I saw him in New York when I was like maybe 18 on spring break in the city. I go, Mr. Rebhorn? He turns around like stunned that some 18-year-old is saying his name. Like, and he goes, yes, I'm Mr. Rebhorn, James Rebhorn. Shakes my hand. I go, you're one of my favorite actors. Can I get a picture with you? And I had one of those wind-up Kodak cameras, and I snapped a photo. To this day, I don't even know where it is. It might be in my
But you made
storage
his
unit or
day.
something.
That you knew his name.
Oh, he made my day. But I made his day. Yeah, it was. I think he was probably doing something on Broadway or something like that. But
Yeah, it's amazing how many great actors there are, but people don't know them by name.
I know.
You know, and like it's funny because, and I want to get back to the question about
Richard Jewell.
Yeah, well, not necessarily Richard Jewell, but sort of. But what was I going to say?
But if we could talk about me a lot.
Well, that's what the podcast is.
Oh, thank God. Because I was starting to worry because
It's inside.
I don't
of
want
you.
us to have fun actually having a conversation with two people.
Are we not having fun?
No, we are. I'm saying that's my joke.
Oh,
I'm
it's a
saying
joke.
how dare we detour and talk
How
about my
dare.
career when we're
I love it.
actually
And
having legitimate fun just talking.
We will, and we'll continue that. I just want to know if you get like, you said like starstruck, like that character actor, but like, I'm thinking Richard Jewell, is it the first time you worked with such enormous actors, because there was a lot of them in that, and you're directed by Clint Eastwood. Do you get starstruck by these big guys? Does it kind of make you nervous in the first few takes? Is it this, or are you kind of like confident and let's do my thing?
There was some sort of turn that happened with Blackbird where I think my experience on 5.5 months of Blackbird with Taryn and Dennis, that kind of broke me of the starstruckness. Cause I like a lot of people, I have imposter syndrome.
Me too. Yeah.
That's a normal thing. And for those listening, I use that term all the time and people are always asking me, what does that mean? Imposter syndrome is essentially like akin to, you are in a position of some kind, be it a marriage, be it a job, whatever. And you feel that you don't deserve it or that you kind of stumbled into it rather than earned it. And that you're going to maybe be found out by these people in this circumstance. So I on I, Tonya, I had a day where Margot is skating and I'm supposed to be talking to her and she kind of badmouths me in this ice rink. And I knew I wasn't getting the face I wanted. I wasn't able to, I wasn't eliciting enough pain. And it was because she and I had hung out at that point and talked and we're buddy. And I was like, I kind of need something from her that will make me feel like crap and I can really live in it. And so apparently the mirror wasn't enough.
Come on.
But I went up to her and I said, can you tell me I'm inadequate? And she's like, what do you mean? Say that in the scene. And I was like, no, can you, Margot, tell me, Paul, you're inadequate? And she's like, oh, she looked disgusted. And she's like, I don't want to say that. And I was like, I know, I need it though. And she looked at me, she goes, okay. And she literally takes like a beat, like a thoughtful beat, and then looks up at me and goes, Paul, you're inadequate. And I felt it and I was like, oh, and it did hurt. And I was like, good, I'm glad I did that. Then she went away and we did the take and the take was really good. And she skated up to me afterwards and was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I was like, no, I know. Cause I feel that. And then after Blackbird, Dennis and Taryn treated me like a co-conspirator, like a true equal. And that sort of feeling really rubbed off on me and made me feel like I had a place here and that I could be a leader on and off set.
You belong.
Yeah, it really did. And so after that, I would say going into 2022, I don't really get starstruck anymore. I was a little nervous. I just worked with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck on a Doug Liman movie. I have a few more days on that.
What's it called?
It's called The Instigators.
But Matt Damon, you were a little bit like Matt Damon.
Well, Damon and I think Casey's one of our best actors working, and I think Matt is too, but in a different way, in the sense of Matt Damon will make you bust a gut in some comedy thing, and then a minute later he's commanding a Ridley Scott film or he's in a Chris Nolan movie. So I was a little nervous going into that because I'm just like, these are guys I really respect and I want to bring it.
Right.
I understand I'm the seventh man, I'm number 2 or 3 on the bench and this is Jordan and Pippen or whatever. But I'm like, if you put me in for 3 minutes, you better believe I'm going to get you 2 rebounds and I'm going to score at least once. I'm going to try to block somebody.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to make that 3 minutes count.
That's a good way to think.
So that's just my thing going in now is like, I do have a lot of pressure on myself to be great.
Right.
And what I learned most often is like, you don't have to put yourself through some mental rigmarole for every single role.
Right.
Like some stuff you know how to do and you just got to do it and not question it and pretend you're going to get the peripheral Oscar or something.
Yeah. But we both worked for Clint Eastwood. I just had one big scene in a movie.
Yeah. What was your scene? I haven't seen that film.
It's no one saw it. It's called Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. I had like a scene where they cross-examined me, but it's a lot of great actors, Jack Thompson and Spacey and Cusack, and I'm being cross-examined. It's my first role in a movie, and I'm playing a character, and it was just holy shit. But like for you, and I remember how I felt. It's like, look at this. This is my first movie. Were you like, when he's like, all right, Paul, here's what I want you to do on this one. If you could show a little bit more vulnerability, but don't give it to them. Don't make them see it. Try to make it like it's it's a private moment.
That's really good.
I mean,
Wow.
were you like in the beginning like, oh my God, Clint Eastwood's directing me?
It was no, because he would never say that many words.
Let's roll.
Clint's whole thing was minimalism and exactitude, which I appreciate. Spike Lee does the same thing.
So it didn't have a lot of notes.
No, the only notes he ever gave me were speed, like pacing. Like Paul Thomas Anderson made fun of Phil Hoffman on the set of Magnolia. He's like, this is how I get up and look at a framed photo on a table. He walks up, takes 3 seconds to walk up, looks at it, goes, and sets it back down. It's all of 8 seconds. He goes, here's how Phil does it. And then he walks up and he's like looking around for like 30 seconds. Kind of gets the photo, discovers the photo, has like a moment where he's about to cry. Like I kind of got caught doing that on Richard Jewell a couple times, and Clint would walk up to me and go, it needs a little more skip to my loo, pace it up. And I'd be like, oh man, the boss is right. And by the way, I would say 8 or 9 out of 10 times he was right, and I was milking something mostly unconsciously. And then once in a while I'd be like, this is a big moment. I think the editor should find the pacing. I need to honor this moment and really feel the breadth of it and make sure that there's an origin to the conclusion. Because some scenes, it's like, you should have seen the original screenplay. Billy Ray wrote a great script. No shock there. He's Billy Ray. But they had me, Richard Jewell, crying like 3 or 4 times in the movie. And I was like, we can't have me crying that many times. It's going to take all the power out of it. And, doesn't it make more sense to let it build? I'll get choked up when my mom starts getting emotional because I'm mad that this is affecting my mother.
You're right.
I had a little thing there, but then we saved it for the end and we really let the dam kind of burst and break in the diner scene with me and Rockwell.
Yeah.
And that was the right move.
It was the right move because you don't want to be like, oh God, like a schlub guy, schlub character. You don't want to, you want him to have a little bit, like you want to have some integrity, right? You want him to have some.
Well, and I don't know that integrity is congruent to not crying, but I think for me, for an audience, if we're seeing it happen over and over, it's like, it's not special. Sexuality is the same thing in movies where like, I got beat over the head with so much sexual imagery and cocaine and buffoonery and Wolf of Wall Street. It actually made me not really appreciate it. Watching that film, I'm kind of like, this might be one of my least favorite Scorsese movies.
Yeah, you're right. It's a balance. And like they always say as an actor, people try not to cry in the real world.
Of course.
They don't want to cry.
Yeah.
So, we're not always crying. We're always stopping ourselves from crying. Like, stop it.
100%.
Stop it. Breathe. Close your eyes. You don't want water to come out. Shit like that.
Or you're not even thinking about the tears because you're in the moment, and then the tears will do what they will. And that's usually when they fall down in full-on drops. They don't drizzle. They just bam.
Yeah.
Because you're too busy thinking and feeling that you're not cognizant.
Yeah. The imposter syndrome, because I've always had it. I always think that I'm not worthy. They're going to find me out. Same shit. I've always had it. And it makes sense because I look back at my childhood. Now, when you look back on your childhood, did you have a happy childhood? Did you have like, I know you went to like a private school.
I did. We went to, by the way, we were not well to do. We had shit for money. We lived in a really, really dangerous neighborhood in Saginaw, Michigan called North Bond Street. And we had like a police dog shot by a bank robber in our backyard on Thanksgiving night. We had our house broken into, our car broken into. We knew gang members and people that were like selling drugs out of their house. Like my dad was a Lutheran pastor. So Monday through Saturday, it was kind of like The Wire. And then on Sundays, it's like the Andy Griffith Show where I'm like wearing suspenders and a bow tie, eating donut holes, talking to senior citizens in Sunday school. You know, that's what made me the actor and dude I am.
You've seen it all.
Well, to some extent, yeah. So I kind of, yeah. I want to answer your question. I don't want to just pontificate about my bullshit.
No. It paints a picture.
The question was, growing up, I had a good childhood, but you know, it's a constancy of the dark and light duality and juxtaposition. So, you know, you go to a Lutheran school and everything is, you know, sunshiny Jesus, but there's also like the cracks in the foundation. And even as a kid, I was keenly aware of, I didn't have a high IQ, but I had a high EQ, which a lot of creatives do. And so, you know, I would see, like, there's this great story of me and one of my closer longtime friends, this guy, Evan Chisholm, where Evan and I in first grade, so I'm like 7 years old, we're sitting next to each other doing our workbooks where you're just writing O's and trying a cursive F out or whatever the thing is. And I noticed he was like very dutiful and very like his studies, I could see him pressuring himself. And so I just, for my own amusement, started hurrying through my workbook as if I was finishing each thing while sitting next to him. And I saw him kind of look over and him try to like hurry up, like seeing the competitive nature. God. And then like after I pretended to have finished the whole workbook or whatever in like 2 minutes. And then he just slams us down and starts crying and puts his head in his hands. And, you know, it's a horrific story to some degree because I feel bad that like clearly my friend Evan in youth or throughout his life did have a competitive edge. And that was something emotionally charged for him.
Wow.
But in that moment, how does a 7-year-old know to play that sort of Mark's brother adjacent prank to another kid?
Right.
So clearly, you know, there were things like that, or my second grade teacher, Mrs. Rathje, she was having hip surgery at the time, and she's teaching second grade, and she's not getting paid shit. And there were moments where my buddy Josh Britton would be pulling on her dress saying, teacher, teacher, teacher. And I remember her turning around going, sit down and shut up. And me just being like dying laughing at the dark comedy of it all, but also being terrified. God. Like there are all these moments etched in my memory, and it's always a duality of light and dark. And looking back, like I'm still a self-professed Christian person. I'm still a big Jesus guy. But I like, there's so many things that were fundamentally wrong about how the church views women or different races, or just interprets some text that they think they have the corner marketed on intellectual thought. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Ever hear
like,
of evolution?
What's that?
Ever hear of evolution? We evolve. And...
Listen, the Bible itself says, I was thinking about this on the way here. It's funny that it's actually coming up in our convo organically. The Bible has a moment where they say that in heaven or to God, a day is like 1,000 years and 1,000 years is like a day. And so it's like, it's trying to be evocative of the great mystery of like, you don't know. And that is, of course, if this is true, what else is true? So you tell that to a Christian though, a devout Christian, and they go, okay, well, if 1,000 years is like a day and a day is like 1,000 years, that must mean that the world's only been around. That must mean that it only took 7 days or 7,000 days to make the earth. It's one of those two. It's either 7 days or 7,000 then, right? It's like, I go back to Brian Regan The big yellow one is the sun. The yellow one is the sun. And it's like a kid doing his science fair project with all the foam balls as the planets, you know. It's just, and I feel bad for those folks. They're not bad people, but they sure as hell have a huge effect on the world. And to stay undereducated and to not crack open this thing you hold dearly and go on the journey, it's really damaging. So yeah. I think my dark humor and my proclivity for comedy and drama comes from a childhood that definitely was exposed to both in its most pure and gritty forms, you know.
Were you popular in high school? Were you picked on? What was it?
I was popular my whole life, but I was picked on for being fat throughout my life, like being a pudgy kid or being.
How did that affect you? It obviously affected you.
I mean, you know, you're not getting invited to certain parties. You're not getting laid, nor did I want to. I was busy playing video games and drinking Slurpees and studying Saturday Night Live. I didn't care. I didn't need to have sex. I had, you know, the internet.
Wait a minute. If you had a choice, I mean, then if the hottest chick in the high school came up and was like, hey, come out with me, and
it would have, in retrospect, it would have changed my personality, I think, because you're still growing so much then that I think I would have had different. Would it have been nice? Yeah, sure. Younger, littler Paul, I wish he would have had a little extra sugar in his coffee or whatever. But the idea is my sort of sheltered virgin mindset at that time is what made me the actor I am and made me go on this journey to become who I am. I like who I am now. I haven't always. So I don't like the idea of me getting laid and then suddenly like, well, who cares about theater? Who cares about SNL if I can be inside of another human being on a Saturday night? Why am I
do both for the love of God?
No, you just went full Farley.
I did. Now here's what I want to tell you.
Just let the boy sleep in your bed.
He's a good boy.
He said he'd wash the sheets. Please don't make me wash the sheets. Wash your own damn sheets.
But you're missing the best part. When he does those impressions. Yeah, that. After his sentence, he'll go, he's a good boy. Will you let him watch? I'm like, what is that?
So, I mean, it's like throwing salt on a chocolate chip cookie, man. Farley would do stuff like that.
Nobody funnier. Nobody has ever made me laugh that hard. And I thought he was a really good actor. He could have done a lot of other things. Like that moment in Tommy Boy in the boat, I was like,
yeah, I mean, just being vulnerable.
And I've told the story. I'm not going to tell you, but I'll tell you as buddies some other time. But like I hung out with him a few times. Kevin, his brother, asked me to be in the documentary. I told the story of the first time I met him, and it was just.
Oh, that's right. I saw you in the documentary.
It was.
I Am Chris Farley.
Yeah, I think it was I Am Chris Farley. Yeah, but anyway, yes. I had Bob Odenkirk on here who wrote all the.
I know.
Those sketches, Matt Foley.
Bob's the one who's very vehemently against the Chippendale sketch. He's very vocal.
Yeah, he said it on here. He was just like, yeah, I didn't like how, it was just.
Fatty Fall Down, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because, I don't know how that is. I've never been like overweight, but I was always really small. I was the smallest kid in my high school.
Really?
I started
You're so tall.
I grew when I graduated high school. On my license, if I can find it somewhere, I think it says 5'3". And
what?
Yeah, and then I grew like 9 inches in between high school and college.
The hell?
Yeah, it's probably why I had back problems.
You totally twinsed it. You went from DeVito to Schwarzenegger.
I did. But like it was hard. It was hard for me. I cried.
Yeah.
I cried for being picked on and being small and like so.
I got made fun of too when I moved to LA for being a devout like Christian. Like I would be in church at Sherman Oaks Lutheran off Ventura Boulevard behind the Mel's Diner every Sunday. And if I was at a bonfire and we were all stoned, I'd be like trying to talk about something spiritual and everybody around me is like, well, there's no God, or if there was a God, why would he let bad things happen? And then I'm like, but and then you try to make a point and then they're like, well, I don't know, like can't every God be God? Like aren't religions all the same basically? And I'm just like, Well, there's some congruency, but it just becomes like a really tough thing. But you know what? That was also me not being sober-minded. The Bible talks about sobriety a lot, a weird amount. And it says to be sober-minded. And I think now that I am, not only have I kicked some of those demons trying to take over my narrative in my head, but I've also clarified what it is I believe rather than parroted some sort of religious mimicry that's been passed down almost as a generational curse more than a blessing.
Well said. That was well said. I will ask you this one question, and then we're going to go into ShitTalkin, Paul Walter Hauser.
Whoa.
These are it's fast rapid fire.
Love
it's
it.
my patrons who I love. But first, I'm obviously everybody knows you won the Golden Globe. Everybody loves the speech. It's funny, the plastic joke, or whatever. It's guys like you that you see up there, and you're like, this is a real dude. This is a real guy. He's not just not moving, and he's just trying to look as great as and handsome. Like, you were just real. You were just up there. You looked handsome, but you were not trying. You were just, it just felt like a regular, being a human being is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
sorry, that will forever remind me of Clifford, where Charles Grodin says to Martin Short, "Can you just be a human boy?" And Martin Short looks at him like this. I totally can't do it. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Oh my God.
Have you, Ryan?
No.
Wasn't it ranked one of the worst movies in history?
Yeah, by a bunch of recalcitrant dolts.
You're going to make me watch it, aren't you?
If you want to have a good laugh and love Martin Short and Charles Grodin and Dabney Coleman and Mary Steenburgen more than you already do.
I love them.
All right, keep talking. Keep talking about how I gave a really humble,
I'm not
going
to talk about that. I want to talk about, a lot of people will say, it's just an award. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. But to me, it's like, it's saying, hey, what I'm doing, I'm getting recognition from people.
It resonates.
It resonates. It's just bullshit to say you don't give a shit unless you've won 10, but it's just.
I give a shit, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be lying to say I don't care. I think for me, that moment was like, wow, I'm in this conversation that I've been wanting to be in. Not because I need to go to the Chateau Marmot and sip drinks with Adrian Brody or something. It's like, that's not why I need to be in the conversation. I need and want to be in the conversation to prove that I'm able to do great work. And just like an athlete, I want to win championships. This is my sport. Wow. I do not show up just because it's fun. I show up because I'm trying to absolutely murder it. Even in a guest star on a sitcom, I'm only there to murder it and to try to build up and love the people who do the show every single day.
Elevate the show.
Let them out. So that's my mindset with that.
I like that.
But a lot of people are like, well, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association sucks and the Globes don't matter. Well, it was nice. It's nice having that moment. I enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
the Critics' Choice means even more. The critics are watching so much stuff, dude. They have watch fatigue. And then the SAG Awards, I didn't win, but I got nominated, and I lost to Sam Elliott, who's a legend, who I love.
I want to thank Paul Walter Hauser.
I just want to say, I'm tired of playing ranch hands.
Yeah.
Let me be in your next Enron film.
Can I see this mustache?
I love that.
I do
guy.
too, but can you imagine? I loved him. I loved him since I saw him in Mask.
Everybody said they were so mad when he said that he didn't like, what was that movie he said he didn't get? The Western with Benedict. Oh, Power of the Dog.
I didn't see it.
Good movie, by the way. I really liked it. And the acting, Kirsten Dunst is an absolute killer in that.
Really?
Movie. She might have given the best performance in the film, and it's full of good performances. But that film deals with like the how homosexuality was like treated back in the day, in that time and in that geographical area and stuff. And it's handled really delicately and beautifully. I really love it.
I love that. Yeah, go ahead.
But it was interesting because Sam Elliott was like, what is that? Kind of like, the hell is this? This doesn't feel like a cowboy movie, or I don't really like this thing. And people were like, how dare Sam Elliott say that? And it's like, dude, The guy's 100 years old.
Leave
He's
him
made
alone.
a billion of these Westerns.
Yeah,
like,
it's not about
It's
anything.
not like he's picketing outside saying,
Right.
like, I disagree with his sentiment, but, like, it's just funny how, like, anytime we have any chance to pick on somebody,
Out.
it's like...
Everybody's out. You just say something
They did
remotely
what?
out.
By the way, can I tell you why we do that as a culture? It's because there's no accountability at the top. If people were actually held accountable and there was real justice outside of street justice, which street justice is now, of course, the information superhighway, people wouldn't be that pissed off. But we're all pissed off and outraged by banks being, bailed out, and politicians on both sides of the aisle doing whatever the hell they want and promising everything with nothing in return. So for us, it's like, well, you know what? I'm going to be what is that? What you can make a citizen's arrest? It's a bunch of people going, I'm going to make 80 citizen's arrests on all these people who do misdemeanors, but I'm going to treat them like felonies. Because F you have the life I want, and I'm going to throw you in
It's the
fucking
small.
hell.
It's like such a small percentage of people that dictate what everybody else.
It's like the
can or
electoral
cannot do.
college.
It's
It's
like, what
flawed.
the fuck are we listening to these bananas for? I hate it. It's like there's some things that yes, you said something like that and did something. Fuck off.
And there are companies that are being paid to strategically stir the pot, and they have these bot things that are just like, you look at them and it's like, I have 5 followers and I follow 1,100 people, and I signed up for Twitter yesterday and now I'm bashing this one person. It's like, dude, that's not, people have jobs. People are doing shit. It's
What if they cut that as a way that you couldn't say hateful things to anybody on the internet, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook? There was some kind of algorithm or whatever it is.
I mean,
Wouldn't that be amazing if someone could say, so when you type something like this motherfucker, nope, but you could only say opinions, but you can't call someone a whatever. It's too hard.
I don't think they would allow
Freedom
that.
of speech.
They won't allow that in the natural, in the sense of like, we're going to make something finite. They will only allow that to be an assumed part of discourse where you can't say this word, don't talk about that thing. It's almost like the flow of traffic. We don't have a speed limit sign, but you better go to the flow of the traffic because these are the fucking cars.
You know, on the AI, there's that AI app, what's it called? Where it could tell a story.
Oh yeah, that's bizarre.
That's berserk, and it's there's gonna be no writers left. It's gonna write and it's ridiculous. But you can't type in like murder. It will say no. It won't let you do it. So that's why I was thinking about that. If that app won't let you do things like that, won't talk about her, whatever, vagina. I don't know why I just said vagina. You could say vagina.
No,
I
it's
guess.
the idea of it depends what you're talking about.
Sure.
But it is the kind of thing where you can only police so much, and then what you're doing is it's almost like bad parenting, where we're kind of like, we're telling one kid like, don't do this, and then the other kid does it, and then it's like, okay, well, you guys can't do this other thing, and then the other kid does it. It's like, it's so unbalanced that it makes more sense to loosen the reins than to tighten them, because now you're just making people angrier.
Yeah.
And anger is going to compound and compress amidst automation and no job creation and all the absurdities that.
And what
run
we're talking
amok.
about isn't even political.
No, once again, I said
just
Republican,
saying,
Democrat
No,
once?
I'm just saying this is not. Anyway. All right. Shit Talking with Paul Walter Hauser.
Let's do it.
These are the patrons. Thank you. Go to patreon.com/inside of you. And thank you for all the love, and become a patron if you want to support the show. Megan K says, how do you prepare to get in the headspace? Well, we already talked about that. Like Larry Hall, and the performance was mesmerizing, but
Getting in the headspace is just all about, I am going to own this posture, these thoughts, and I'm going to be free as a child to play, so that I'm making everyone happy and saying the lines, but I'm also being malleable to creative thought.
you memorize lines fast,
Yes.
very fast.
Not like soap opera fast, but I'm
If somebody
pretty
gave
good.
you a monologue and said, I needed you to do this in 2 hours.
Oh, 100%. If someone gave me the monologue and it was 2 pages long, I could have it done in maybe an hour.
On the spot with all the nervousness going on set.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to win an award with said monologue, but
Don't yell at me,
I
Jesus.
can memorize it. Son of
Leanne, before accepting your role in Cobra Kai, were you a fan of the Karate Kid series?
I was a fan, not a mega fan. I'd only seen the first one. I hadn't seen 2 and 3. But I was a mega fan of what they did in season 1 of Cobra Kai. When I got the offer, I'm like, Cobra Kai? It's a Karate Kid sequel on YouTube. Like, it didn't sound good. And then I watched it and I'm like, this is way better than anyone even understands. And I jumped on board and had a blast.
And they kept bringing you back.
Kept bringing me back. I improvised a lot and did a lot of physicality. I love
What
physical
season is it?
stuff. What season is what?
Yeah, Cobra Kai.
I think we're doing the 6th and final.
Are you in that?
I'm in 2, 4, and 5.
2, 4, and 5.
I'm not. I don't know what's going on with 6.
Would you go back if they asked you?
Under the right circumstances.
Under the right circumstances. Jessica B, what gets you motivated in life?
Motivated in life. Trying to figure out how to answer that. I guess this is rapid fire, so I'll just say
whatever. You can always.
What gets me motivated is I go on YouTube and I watch interviews with politicians and I watch politicians, I watch comedians, I watch actors, I watch musicians, I watch foreign bankers, economists. I try to sponge up what's going on in the world from some sort of bird's eye view, and I sponge up what I love about the world. So I look at its brokenness and then I look at the greatness in it, and then I try to contribute in some way, both in how I treat said world and what I do creatively. But nothing will ever help me exercise more than Run the Jewels and Kendrick Lamar, and nothing will ever help me love people better than drinking a lot of coffee and reading the Bible and meditating and going to my program to stay sober. That's how I'm motivated.
Run the Jewels, I agree. That gets me pumped.
I adore them.
I just love your answer. Off the cuff, you just sped through that. Danny. Well, we talked about Clint Eastwood, so forget that. Sorry.
Yeah, no more Eastwood. I will say about Eastwood, one of my greatest memories is I was trying to open a wine bottle at this restaurant in Atlanta. I couldn't get it open, and he goes, "Give it here." He takes a wine bottle, puts it between his legs. He's strong, but he's a thin, little guy too. Hope he would hate me saying that, I bet. He pulls out a Swiss Army knife, jabs it, stabs it into the cork, and starts doing the old school twist with a Swiss Army knife. I mean, it was like trying to get milk from a dying cow. It was, and 2 to 3 minutes into it, I'm like, is he gonna seize up? Am I going to kill this man with trying to open my bottle? So I'm about to stop him, and he rips the cork open and opens it and pours it for me. I was like, that was one of the coolest moments ever. This is him.
What'd you think I wasn't gonna make it?
You think I can't open a bottle of wine, you pansy piece of crap?
I've directed 800 movies. I was Bronco fucking Billy, you piece of shit.
He's about to direct number 40. The movie's called
40.
Juror Number 2. Tony Collette, Nick Holt.
Oh my God.
This
You know
summer.
what's funny? I remember on set he got pissed. I've never seen him pissed. I've only been on set with him probably a week or so, but he got mad at Spacey. Spacey was like, listen.
Was Spacey choking a young man while straddling him?
Oh my God. This is
Was that it?
no. What? That's not what happened, Kevin.
No, he's only been accused of that kind of thing 20 to 30 times. There's no way he's done it.
I'm not saying
There's
that.
no validity.
But now you're turning it like I don't believe in
I
it.
know. I love shitting on Kevin Spacey.
No, but he said something like, Clint, listen, do you want me to walk around this? And then whatever he was saying. He was doing this
Clint,
thing.
am I supposed to do this thing your way, or is it? He always
No,
says
damn
about
it. Yeah,
him.
he has a, listen to me. No, I don't care. I'm going to do this way. And Clint,
This is how I talk.
Clint responds to him. He goes, yeah, you could do that if you want. He goes, well, no, what is it you want me to do? And I forgot, but all of a sudden Clint just goes, God damn it, Kevin, and whatever you want to do it. Fuck. And walked away. And he just, for a moment, he snapped. And it was awesome.
I love that.
And
it
I
was
asked
Kevin.
him on set, I go, in the movie, In the Line of Fire. And he looked at me and goes, all right, where's this going? I go, you have a line where you're talking to Malkovich. And you say on the phone, you have a rendezvous with my asshole, motherfucker. And he looks at me and goes, yeah. And I go, was that improvised? It seems so real. He goes, I might have added a word or two. Yeah.
That's so good.
Unbelievable, dude.
I was Rockwell and I got to be on his private plane or whatever, his jet, like
with him.
Yeah, we got to do it twice with him from Atlanta to
How many
LA.
naps did he take?
None. He stayed awake reading the newspaper. He ate a salad, had a glass of wine or something. We sat with him and watched his movies in front of him, and he would do like audio commentary, peripherally watching it with us.
I remember that. We had no makeup. You could see my goddamn wrinkles too much.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think we watched Deathpool or something with him. Deadpool, something.
Jim Carrey?
No, it wasn't that one then. It was something else.
Maybe that wasn't Deadpool. I don't know.
But no, you're right. That is the one with Jim. But he was laughing at half the movie, and he's like, so embarrassing, like making fun of it, like Mystery Science Theater 3000.
God, don't you wish you had that moment recorded?
It'd be the best. Yeah, he really whisper talks though. You got to listen. Like I would really listen. It's intimidating. I would lean in 80% of the time he and I were talking because I didn't want to. It's Eastwood. Like you're dying to know what he's saying, and you don't want to just smile and nod like a
you know what
idiot.
The key is? No one does this, but if you're at a loud concert, you know how people yell in your ear when they're trying to say something, and you're like, "Fuck, dude, don't yell in my ear." Like everybody does that. It's so easy.
Whisper?
No. You take your ears like this, just like this, go, hey, and you can talk like this and they'll hear you. Everything you say, if you talk like this and you have your ears like that and they're talking to you, I'm not kidding.
I believe you, but I would
love you do that to Clint? What's that, Clint? I said, can you hear me now, you son of a bitch?
Dude, I'm telling you, I would love nothing more than to be at that Imagine Dragons concert and be like, can you hear me now? And they're like, no, let's leave. And it doesn't work. Like I would love
this has been an absolute treat. I don't want to keep you here any longer.
It's up to you. I'm having a good time.
No, it's so fun. I mean, it's just like you could tell. It's like I never even look at this. But it's just so easy. You're just like, I don't even.
Well, if we're closing out, let's talk Farley for a few minutes, right?
Talk Farley. All right. So yeah. So I met him. His brothers were on this show. It was the worst ranked show in history. It was like ranked 130 out of 131 or 129. And it was terrible. It was a Tom Arnold show. Love Tom. The show was terrible. It was me, Ed McMahon, but I was like sixth.
Tom was Chris's sponsor.
Yes, and love Tom. I'm his son's godfather. But the show was just bad. But we had a lot of fun. And so I'm doing a scene, and I'm saying my lines, and people are starting to really laugh, and I'm like, my lines aren't funny. I don't know why it can't be at me. And I turn, and Farley is there. He's in a suit, baggy suit, and he just kind of is waving to the audience, like,
"Oh, 3 camera, yeah,
4 camera, I think." Wow. And he goes, "How are you?" "All right."
"How are you?"
"Good to see you." "Good." "All right." "That looks good on you." And
good. All right.
And I'm numb, and I go, I have to do something that he'll remember me by. This is my hero. And I go, "Hey, everybody, look, it's the big fat guy taking all the attention away from the skinny punk who's trying to have a career." And he looks at me and goes, "That's it." And he runs over, he picks me up over his shoulder, starts smacking my ass, runs through the studio, everybody's smacking my ass. We go in the golf cart afterwards up through Universal, the Psycho House. We have beers. Gosh. I go back to his house to have some drinks.
What was this, 95?
97 or something.
Oh, that was right before.
Right before, because I remember the horrible part is his brothers, we came in for a moment with Tom Arnold. He had AA in an AA meeting in his dressing room, and he says, "Get in here." I go, "I don't really have a drink." Get the fuck in here. You're coming in here. Come on, buddy, get in here." And it was me, Johnny, and Kevin Farley. And I remember Kevin just going, Tom looks at him, we're talking. He goes, "Buddy, your brother's, he's going to die. Your brother's, you just can't, they can't maintain that, And Kevin's like, "Yeah, I know." And Johnny's just like, they're distraught. They're like, we don't know what to do. And then I feel like it wasn't long. It might have been a week or two. It seems like less. That all of a sudden, Kevin starts running across the stage. And I'm sitting on the couch waiting, just looking at my lines or taking a nap or something. I see him. I go, Kevin, are you all right? He looked frantic. He goes, my brother just died. And everybody was just like, what just? I just feel it right now. I feel that moment. Heartbroken for them, and heartbroken for Chris, and heartbroken for so many people that just loved him. Just people felt like they knew him. You know, he just made everybody feel good and made everybody laugh. And it was just, it was, you know, I went from a great moment to a tragic moment, but I'll never forget when Kevin ran off stage. I don't really tell that. Have I told that story? Never told that story. Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
I think I think there's something there's some stuff you can teach with comedy. You can teach some comedy. You know, you watch Rose Byrne in Bridesmaids, and it's like she's being very funny, but she has to be a different kind of funny, you know, opposite all these crazy women. The characters, I mean. And then there's comedy you can't teach. There's something that's in your blood and your bones that is almost like a nationality. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I think Chris had some nationality of comedy that, you know, I believe in God. Everybody else, you know, say fill in your blank here, but I really believe that God gave Chris like the nationality of comedy. And he was always destined to use that to bring light into the world. But, you know, if I believe in God, you know, I believe in the other guy. I believe in the other side of it. And I think there's something that really, darkness loves darkness. Darkness doesn't like light. And Chris got extinguished too early. And it's awful. It's absolutely awful because there was so much more waiting for Chris. There was a wife, there were kids, there were Academy Award nominatable opportunities, there were nonprofits, there were all these things that were there.
Yeah.
The sky was the limit.
But it's what you said earlier. It's that imposter syndrome. It's that not loving yourself. It's like,
I'm the fat guy. No women love me. I have to make them laugh. That's my currency.
I have
don't
to be
wanna
this guy. This is who I, and there was like that sadness. Like I got to be the party guy. I got to be, who knows? It's real.
And to anybody listening, I would just say, or watching, just for a refresher between, I think I speak for both of us. Like you don't have to be anything to anybody other than kind and accountable. You don't have to be anything. Never believe you have to be anything other than kind and accountable. Those are the baseline. More than that, that's your decision. And if you don't want to be somebody's butt of their joke, don't be. Fight it. Because something's going to try to define you, and it will hurt you, and it will erode and eat away at you. And your soul's enamel deserves to be preserved. So please make a decision that is healthy and best for you, not other people.
That's what this show's about. A lot. We talk about that a lot. Choked up a little bit. This has been awesome, dude.
Yeah, anytime. This is so fun.
Say that again.
Anytime.
No matter how big you get, because I'm not saying this, you're one of those guys I know will win an Oscar. No, you laugh. Cool. Yeah, no. You're that good. You're that good, but you're also don't ever lose this. You know?
No,
it seems like you won't. You're just a grounded dude.
Yeah. I think I have people in my life that
there you go.
Like not all my friends are uber successful. Like my friends are my friends because they're my friends.
Yeah. I mostly have non-celebratory, is that what you say? Non-celebrity friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Most of my friends, my friend of 38 years, grew up down the street from me. He was the popular kid and Tom, and so anyway, look.
Let me qualify that too before I get buried for what I just said. I meant successful in the sense of our industry. In life, many of them are very successful. I just mean what we do.
Right.
And in turn, I think I'm very good at what I do, but I'm very unsuccessful in many other facets of life.
Right.
That's probably why I put so much effort into this thing, because I know I know I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop working. Stop working so hard.
I have 2 children. I better work more. They pay character actors, but they don't always pay us that well. Kind of got to do a lot of work.
You're doing just
Ladies and gentlemen, for all those who think that they gotta hustle and bustle, the answer is you do. The world's falling apart, the economy is schmonomy, and you're gonna end up on a steady diet of government cheese, thrice divorced, and living in a van down by the river.
Oh, God, I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know what else. If you didn't love that interview, you don't love interviews. I think that was like a great interview. He's interesting, funny, just adorable. Paul, you're adorable.
Remember after, it was like you guys were finishing up a sleepover. You were like exchanging action figures.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we used to do. But it did. It felt like I was just hanging out with the bud.
Yeah.
And that's how he made me
Yeah,
feel.
he hung out for a while after.
Yeah. So thanks. Thanks for listening, folks. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, again, follow the podcast, write a review, tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to join Patreon and help the podcast, which we need your help more than anything. Without my patrons, I wouldn't be here. Patreon.com/inside of you. The Inside of You online store has a bunch of cool stuff like the ship key signed and tumblers and zip ups and pictures and all scripts and all that stuff. And you could also get cool stuff there. So that's it. You can listen to the intro if you want to find out other information about where I'll be. I'm also on the Cameo and all that. All right. We're going to get the shout outs. Thank you, Paul, for being on the podcast. We love you, man. You are awesome. I hope you come back. Here are the shout outs: Nancy D, Leah and Kristen, Little Lisa, Yukiko, Jill E, Brian H, Nico P, Robert B, Jason W, Sophie M, Raj C, Joshua D, Jennifer N, Stacy L, Jamal F, Janelle B, El Dan Supremo. You know, it's El Dan Supremo because it's Dan.
We like saying Don.
I like to say Don. Santiago M, that wonderful statue of Lex is right there. He's amazing. Chad W, Liam P, Maddie S, Belinda N, Dave Hall. Hi, Dave Hall. I love Dave. Sheila G, Brad D, Ray A Harada. I hope the little baby is doing well. Tabitha T, Tom N, Talia M, Betsy D. Where are you, Betsy D? I don't even talk to you anymore. I miss Betsy D. And Angel M and Rhiannon C, Corey K, Deb Nexon, Michelle
Okay.
A,
Hey.
Jeremy C, Brandy D, Joey M, Eugene and
Leah.
Yes, Corey, Jake B, Angela F, Mel S, Christine S. Tell me if this sounds sexy or creepy. Ready? This is called Sexy or Creepy with Ryan and Michael.
All right, I'll close my eyes.
Eric Gage.
Creepy.
Okay. Shane R.
That was a little sexier.
Thank you. Andrew M.
Creepy.
Amanda R.
Average.
Jen B.
That was sexy.
Stephanie K.
Creepy.
Jorel, Jam and J, Leanne J. That has been creepy or sexy with Ryan and Michael. We should do that every episode. Jam and J, Leanne J, Luna R, Mike F, Stonehenge, Brian L, Kendall L, Kara C, Jessica B, Kyle F, Marisol B, Kaylee J, creepy, Mickey L, not Kaylee, you're not creepy, I am. Brian A, Mickey L, Ashley F, Marion Louise, Lifus, like Dreyfus, Romeo B, just remember Romeo's Bleeding, that movie, Romeo B, Veronica Q, Frank B, Jen T, Nikki L, Alan H, April R, Cassie B, Derek N, JDW, Michelle L. Thanks to all the newcomers for supporting me and the podcast. We love you. Patreon.com/inside of you. Thank you all. We love you very much. And from Michael Rosenbaum here in the Hollywood Hills, California.
I'm Ryan Tejas in the Hollywood Hills of California.
Little wave to the camera. All right. Hey, guys, we love you. Be good to yourself.